Hey Frank, did you get that EDGEFINDER work done I asked you about?
Yeah, I did, but why did you have me do this? I don't get it. I mean, why did we take away half of it?
Oh yeah, this looks just so much better. You can really read right here especially. You get everything you want just in one spot. It looks the greatest it's ever looked. Come on Frank, you get it. It makes so much more sense now. Keep it like that forever, really. Right now, for a limited time, get the EDGEFINDER half off. Yes, 50% off the EDGEFINDER. Slash that price in half and get your hands on the tool today by messaging us down below using the link in the description or in the chat right now. Keep it like that forever, really. Just real quick, we can step through the time frames together. I've got the daily chart pulled up. Daily chart, in my opinion, looks strong, and it actually looks, we're looking at GJ here, by the way, guys, and GJ looks strong off the daily. Frank had that a similar chart pulled up with our momentum indicator on there as well. You know, what's cool here is that we actually have now seen what I would say is starting to be a proper pullback on this bigger move. Now, what I will caution you, for those of you who are not trading off the daily, which is, I know from polling the audience, usually most traders are not trading off the daily, they're trading lower time frames. So let's take it lower time frames. Let's take a look at now the 4-hour chart. So when we look at the 4-hour chart, this is where things get a little bit more sketchy to me. And so here's my approach to this. So if the daily chart is bullish, but the 4-hour chart looks weak, what do we do? Well, in my opinion, what this would lean me into doing more would be, okay, well, let's wait for the higher time frame to potentially take charge. So now we're looking at the 4-hour chart. Let's drop it down even more to the 1-hour chart. And let's say, okay, we know off the longer term, off the daily chart, things look really good, but now we've got it down to a 1-hour chart where we've got this downward structure. So we'd be looking for like breakouts, right? So like a break of structure here, like some sort of higher lows, some formations could perhaps be higher time frame trades or lower time frame trades that we base off the higher time frame. So again, the daily chart still looks strong. The fundamentals that Frank pointed out, again, reiterated over and over from the Bank of England and participants there, that the goal is to continue to tighten the monetary policy to get their really high inflation under control, compared to the Bank of Japan, which is kind of in the opposite extreme. They can't get growth to go in their economy. So in that case, they're not looking to raise rates at all. Those two things, remember, rate hikes are generally positive for a currency. That would lend us to be a little bit more bullish the pound and bearish the yen. I think we do have some comparisons that we can do, of course, on the EDGEFINDER. Frank, I'm pulling up the central bank forecasts. Walk us through your concept again, just briefly, a little bit about your pound versus yen concept you just mentioned.
Right. So if you pull up pound, you'll see the interest rate forecasts and the inflation. This is, I guess, the first 2 quarters, which is the current rate, and then Q3 and on is the forecast. And so we're looking to hold at higher rates for longer and then eventually cut next year in Q3, which is quite a long time. Meanwhile, yen is past its inflation target. It's already at over 3.5%. Its target was 2, just like pretty much everyone else. But rates are ultra low, and what they have forecasted is kind of, I guess, interesting, because they expect lower inflation over time, but I don't think you can keep ultra loose monetary policy and have inflation under control, especially if, you know, the stock market's just going, it was on a tear this year, and the economy is expanding. So I'm not really sure where they get those forecasts from, but all I see is a long-term hold on low interest rates, and that's not really what you're looking for in currency strength.
Right. And just a reminder to the new fundamentalists in the audience, or people who are newer to our streams and content, interest rate hikes or higher interest rates from a central bank generally cause the currency to be stronger, as it basically builds foreign investment interest for interest related products. It creates demand for the currency, essentially. And so what happens there is we see generally things like the pound, where they're looking to keep rates high to be strong, and the yen, which they're looking to keep rates very, very low without any plans to raise them in the future, we see that to be a weakness on the yen. So that's kind of where we get a fundamental breakout on, or a breakdown on the pound against the Japanese yen. And Frank made a good point there. So I do like pound yen. Frank's concept there, I agree with him. I like pound yen on the breakout to the upside. We've been pretty bullish on pound yen, but right now price action is not looking bullish. So this is where we do this often, but like a real quick breakdown here: fundamentals, technicals, sentiment. Okay. So for those of you who are newer, if you know what all three of these represent, do me a quick favor in the chat, type I do or yes. Do you know what all three of these acronyms, FATA and SA, stand for? If you're newer here, obviously you might not know this, but this is something that we go over and over when it comes to the channel, because this is how Frank and I generally, this is our three pillars, if you will, for our trading. So we're going to go over real quick. We do have some time here today. We're about an hour away still from the Canadian interest rate decision, which we will be streaming for. So guys, if you are enjoying the stream, do me a quick favor, settle in, grab yourself something to eat or drink, chill out with us, get your charts pulled up. We're here for a while. So hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new here. So if you don't know what that means, FA, SA, and TA, these stand for fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and sentiment analysis. What I look for in my trading is confluence across all three of these things. I make this point pretty often, but retail traders, they usually only look at technical charts. And while I think technical charts are very useful, they're not the only thing, in my opinion, that should be considered in trading. Fundamentals play a huge role in what the market and the macro moves of the economies of the world are doing. They play massive roles in the charts and trading. For the strategy that I use, fundamentals are huge. Sentiment analysis is looking at things like the commitment of traders data and looking at what hedge funds and professional speculators in the markets are doing. This is a huge thing. Of course, we can also take a look at the other side of things and take a look at what the retail crowd, which typically loses money, are they buying an asset in question, or are they selling an asset in question? These are vital pieces of information that I take into account with my trading. And as we get started, taking a look at more charts here, I want to kind of combine the three and talk about using confluence across the three of these to find the best trading setups possible. Okay, so what's cool is that our watch list on the EDGEFINDER essentially goes ahead and does most of the work there for us. So NASDAQ is a good example. Let's break down the NASDAQ and explain this trade, and then talk about perhaps trade setups going forward. So again, NASDAQ, let's keep up with how things are going. NASDAQ still super, super strong. And I want to go through this with you guys from a TA, FA, and SA perspective. Let's break this down real quick. And again, by the end of the stream, if you stick around with me here for a little bit, you're essentially going to see my strategy broken down in its simplest form. Okay, so give me like 5 minutes, I'll explain it. It's not simple. Well, it is simple in nature, but it's not, that complicated to pick this up and understand what we look for. So technical analysis is pretty straightforward, right? Most of you guys are familiar with all the textbook stuff. It doesn't take a genius to figure out how to do relatively simple technical analysis, and that's pretty much all I need. This chart is bullish. We're putting in textbook higher lows and higher highs. This thing looks strong, right? I'm bullish, okay? From a technical perspective, this gets the green light, right? So bullish. Now, what about fundamentals? Central bank may be backing off with this great CPI print here today. We also see economic numbers still pretty resilient. We see companies and earnings doing quite good. These are fundamentals. These are real world forces that drive markets higher or lower. This looks pretty good, right? Again, we see oil prices coming down overall, right? Gas prices are down. Things look okay. We see a relatively better outlook now than we did, say, 2 years ago, okay? Finally, sentiment analysis. We can take a look at what hedge funds are buying and selling, and we can take a look at the NASDAQ and see, hey, are they biased to the upside or are they biased to the downside? Okay, let's pull up the smart money tracker and we can get that information within like 30 seconds. Okay, 47.99% short, 52% long. This is a slight preference to the long side, but let's take a look at COT data a little bit closer. And I'm going to pull up the NASDAQ 100 for us. So NAS 100 here. Where are you? There you are. NASDAQ 100. This is a week-to-week chart breakdown that we're looking at, or we're going to look at. This shows us recently where institutional money has been flowing. And what we do see is that money has been flowing overall into the NASDAQ. We've had a bit of a dip recently, but overall, over a longer period of time, it does seem like big money is buying into the NASDAQ. That's an extra confluence to be bullish. And we do have a very slight preference to the long side, even if it's very, very slight. So I would say that this gives us, it's a mid to pass, right? Or yeah, it's kind of a neutral reading. So in this case, let's call this okay, right? So it's okay. This still gives me enough confirmation to look for trades. So now when I look for my entries and exits, fundamentals and sentiment, guys, gives me direction. I don't trade direction based purely off of a technical chart. However, where do the technicals come in? Technicals come in for entries and exits, right? Trailing stops, managing a position, entering a position. That's where I use technicals. And so in this case, here is my actual trade. I broke down the fundamentals and sentiment. I bought this thing on a pullback, right? So I bought it on a technical pullback to a key level of what was resistance, turned support. I entered the trade right around here. It went up, it went down. Now today it's nicely following through. And now I'm using technicals to manage a position. Dollar CAD down pretty big prior to the news. Again, dollar down tremendous today. Dollar is like down bad to the max. If you guys know that expression, down bad, it's dollar's down bad today. It's really, really taking a beating because, again, inflation had a knockout victory today for, stock market bulls, dollar bears. It was a great day because, again, inflation showed promising signs of cooling. And as Ivan mentioned in his segment of the show today, if you missed it, he made the point that we might be on the cusp, on the start of a bigger dollar bearish move as inflation seems to be winning over and over. The victories keep lining up for, dollar bears. So anyways, yeah. Here's the thing, dollar CAD, this market looks really weak, and we will see if the Canadian dollar has any strength that can come into it based on the interest rates. Again, rates are expected to go higher, up to 5%. So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, we are about 7 minutes now out from our interest rate decision from the Bank of Canada. And a quick look at where we're at in terms of COT. CAD is really mixed. So hedge funds seem to be about 53 to 47, let's call it long to short in terms of their positioning on the Canadian dollar. So nothing super tremendous there. Let's take a look at retail. And this is really interesting, guys. Look at this. Retail positioning, dollar CAD, 68% long, 32% short. So retail traders are buying strongly on the dollar CAD. Now, if you're new to my streams, a lot of you guys are new. Do me a quick favor. If you guys are new to my streams, meaning you've only been watching for like a month or less, can you guys just say me in the chat? Let's see new people to the stream. Let us know that you're new here so that we can make fun of you. I'm just kidding. Of course not. We're happy that you're here. And if you have not already, consider subscribing for more streams in the future. But if you're new, you may not realize that in our view, the way we look at retail sentiment, Frank and I, who have designed the software that you're looking at, dollar CAD is super bullish from retail traders. We take that as a bearish signal because retail traders are typically wrong. Haven't you heard the stat, right? 90% or whatever, different brokerages release this data on the number of their clients percentage-wise that lose money in the markets on their brokerage platforms. A lot of regulations require brokers to do that. And so we know retail traders typically lose money. And so if we know that they're really long something, that in our view is kind of more of a bearish signal. So dollar CAD Retail's long, so that gives us a bearish outlook, okay? This is not the only thing that we look, but this is, again, why we have software to help us look at many things. Let's talk about CAD pairs. CAD yen, right? We are, by the way, we're just over 2 minutes out. We're going to watch CAD pairs as we do get the number. New people who are just tuning in, what we're waiting for here is we're 2 minutes out from the interest rate from Canada. This is going to be a big market mover. It will actually probably move things like gold as well. So even if you don't trade CAD pairs, this will likely cause some volatility. So I do want to pull up some charts here, get ready for this news event. So let's do this. CAD yen, we're going to put in the top left. And I like to pull up 15-minute charts for the reaction, just because, I don't know, it's fun. Euro CAD, I don't have any CAD trades open to be straight up. I don't have any CAD trades open, though I do have a NASDAQ trade open. We talked about that earlier. Look at that, NASDAQ does not want to quit. That's awesome. I think we're up probably like 2,200 bucks on this trade. That's turning out to be a really nice move for us. Stops trailed on this one. And again, floating about $2,200 so far on this trade. I didn't take any new trades this week so far, at least not on the, I think I took an options trade. Either might have been last week that I entered it. I haven't been trading that much, but I've got this one quality trade that just keeps going, that NASDAQ move. Let's not dilly-dally here. We've got CAD yen top left, Euro CAD. We've got to pull up dollar CAD to watch this reaction. 15-minute charts all around, by the way, guys. And let's pull up one more. Let's do GBP CAD. All right, pound CAD, dollar CAD, CAD yen, Euro CAD. We're going to react to the numbers and, of course, talk about where things may be going. What's the price? Atlanta Premier Catering. Hey, you're from Atlanta. What's up? Hit us up. Message us. We've got the direct message center if you do want more information about our software. So direct message us. You can get more information about the current discounts and all the stuff that's going on. All right, here we go, guys. We're going to do breaking news here. We're 10 seconds out. And here we go with our number. Dollar CAD pushing lower. Pound CAD. CAD JPY making an initial push. Dollar CAD shot down and kind of came right back. And there it is. Interest rate did come out at 5%. We were expecting a rise in interest rates. So we got up to 5% from 4.75%, the overnight rate from Canada. And so we do see that number coming in, printing. Dollar CAD making a continued push lower. Pound CAD goes lower. Is there any reaction here to gold? Let's see. Gold, not too much of a reaction. Dollar CAD continuing to push lower. My goodness. Euro CAD selling off. Again, this would allude to CAD strength here, right? CAD yen shooting up. Euro CAD shooting down shows the CAD is putting pressure on the euro. Same thing with the dollar CAD, and gold kind of unchanged here. Again, for CAD bulls, nice move there. CAD yen making a bit of a push off. Frank talked about this pair earlier. I wonder if he took a trade on this one. Frank does share his trades in the Discord, so I could check, but still in a downtrend, I would say, off the 4 hour. But the question is, can we get breakouts here? And that may be the bigger move to ask ourselves is, you know, CAD yen daily chart pulling back, finding some support here. Is this the start to kind of a bigger push up? I think it's a little bit early to tell, but we did get some nice numbers here today out of the Bank of Canada. Again, rate hiking as expected. So really, oh, Frank did enter. Someone in the group just let us know. He entered 106.4 or 105.4. Oh, nice. So Frank jumped in this one. So he's in a profitable trade right now on CAD yen. So good for Frank on that.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free EDGEFINDER, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.